Hi there, welcome to Letters to Loved Ones, or I should say ancient letters to loved ones, since we're using Horace from around 33 BC. Let's see what he has to say in his next satire on the advice for finding happiness in him. All right, yes, my glasses are still broken, but I figure it's part of the times. Why hide it? I mean, we're all under Corona. All right, so here we are. Satire 4. Whenever anyone deserves to be shown as a crook, a thief, a libertine, a murderer, or merely notorious in some other way, the true poets, those who powered the old comedy, Euripides, Aristophanes, Cratinius, used to mark such a man out quite freely. Lucius derived from them as a follower who only changed rhythm and rhyme and meter, witty, with sharp nose, true, but the verse he wrote was rough. That's where the fault lay. Often, epically, he'd dictate 200 lines, do it standing on one foot even. A lot should have been dredged from this murky stream. He was garrulous, hated the labor involved in writing. Written well, I mean, I don't care for mere quantity. Watch Crispinius offer me long odds. Now, if you please, take your tablets and I'll take mine. Pick a place at a time. The judge, let's see which of us can scribble the most. Thank the gods I'm a man of few ideas, with no spirit, one who speaks only rarely and then says little. But if it's what you prefer, then you imitate air shut in a goat skin bellows, laboring away till the fire makes the iron melt. Blessed be Phineas, who offers his books and busk unmasked while no one reads what I write. And I'm afraid to recite it aloud, since some care little for that sort of thing, and most men deserve censure. Choose any man from the crowd. He'll be bothered by adverse or some wretched ambition. And this man is crazed for married women, another for boys. That man's captivated by gleaming silver. Albius marveled at bronze. This man trades his goods from the east. To the lands warmed by the evening rays rushed headlong, just like the dust caught up by the wind, full of fear. Here you get a little bit of a touch of his poetry. I'm definitely looking forward to reading. These are just his advice. Anyways, I thought the morals of the poet would be interesting to read before the poet, and just Horace happens to grace us with such things. He's dangerous, flee. He's marked by hay tied to his horns. He won't spare a single friend to get a laugh for himself, and whatever he scribbles all over his parchment, he's eager for all the slaves and old women to know on their way from well or the bakehouse. Well, listen to these few words of reply. First, I'll cut my own name from those I listed as poets. It's not enough merely to turn out verse, and you can't call anybody a poet who writes like me in a style close to everyday speech. Give the honor owed to that name to a man of talent, one who has, with divine soul and a powerful gift of song. That's why some people have doubted if comedy is true poetry, since in words and content it lacks inspired force of fire, and except that it differs from prose in its regular beats, is merely prose. But it highlights a father, and there in a raging temper because his son, a spendthrift who's madly in love with his mistress, a slut, shuns a girl with an ample dowry, reels around drunk and calls a scandal with torches at eventide. Yes, but wouldn't Pompeius get a lecture no less, severed from the real father? So it's not nearly enough to write out a line in plain speech, that if you arranged it would allow any father to fume like one in the play. Take the regular rhyme from this that I've written now, or Lucius wrote, putting the first words last, placing the last ones first. It's not like transporting Ennius when hideous discord shattered the iron posts of the gateways of war. Even dismembered, you'd find the limbs of a poet. Enough, we'll ask some other time if it's poetry. The only question for now is whether you're right. To view such things with suspicion, Sulcius and Caprius prowled about zealously, armed with right and terribly hoarse, are a terror to thieves, but a man who clean hands, who lives decently, scorns them both. Even if you're a Capri or a Sulcius, or why fear me, I still have that fear of like when I was doing this whole thing and I look up sometimes to see that it's actually recording, because of those times I did it all and I wasn't recording. Anyways, let me continue. Sorry for the interruption. To the sweaty hands of the mob and Hermogenes, I only recite them to friends, and only when pressed, not anyone to anyone. There are plenty who read out the works in the forum or bays. How nicely the vaulted space resonates to the voice. It delights the insane who never considered whether time and taste are right. But you take delight in wounding, and you work evil zealously. Where did you find the spear to throw? Is anyone I know the author of that? The man who will slander an absent friend and fails to defend him from the others, attacks who's after others' laughter and the name of a wit, and invents things he's never seen and can't keep. A secret. Beware of him, Rome. He's a blackguard. When there's a party of 4 and only 3 couches, often there's one guest who likes to besprinkle the rest, excluding the host who supplies the water, and host too, though later when drunk, tastes truthful liber unlocks the heart. Yet you, hating blackguards, consider him charming, direct, and urbane. Did I seem them spiteful or vicious? If I laugh because stupid Raphaelius smells of pastils, Garganius of goat. Oh, there's the goat thing again. Why does that keep coming up? If someone, while you were there, gives a hint of Petilius, Capitolinus thefts, you'd be sure to defend him, as it is your habit. Capitolinus has been a dear friend and companion. Since childhood, he's drawn me many a favor when asked. I'm delighted he's living freely here in the city, but I'm still amazed at how he escaped that trial. That's the black ink cuttlefish squirrels now that pure venom. Let such nasties be far from my work. And well, before that, from the heart of my heart, if there's anything I can truly promise, I promise you that if I speak too freely, too lightly perhaps, you'll allow me the liberty, please, that the best of fathers formed me. So I'll flee from vice. He'd point out by example. When he exhorted me to be thrifty and careful so as to live in content of what he'd leave me, he'd say, don't you see how badly young Ambius is doing, how poorly Baius? A clear warning, don't willfully squander your birthright, or steering me from base love of a whore. Don't take after Scantius from chasing the adulteress where I might enjoy from sex. Not nice Tiberius, name how he's caught, and the wise man can tell you why it's better to seek or avoid something. It's enough for me that I follow the code of our ancestors handed down, and while you need a guardian, I'll keep your reputation and health from harm, that when age has strengthened your body and mind, you can swim free of the float with words such as those he formed the child, whether urging me on, if I acted with your even authority for doing this, pointed to one of the judges of the praetor had chosen, or forbid it with, can you really be doubtful whether it's wrong or harmful when scandalous blaze about that man and this, and as a neighbor funeral scares the sick glutton and makes him diet, fearful of dying, so tender spirits are often deterred from doing wrong by others' shame. That's why I'm free of whatever vices bring ruin, though I'm guilty of lesser falling ones. You might pardon, perhaps growing older with largely erase even these, or honest friends of self-reflection, since when my armchair welcomes me, or a stroll in the partico, alert to myself, it's more honest, I'd say. If I do that, my life will be better. That way I'll make good the friends. What he wasn't nice, could I ever unthinkably do something similar one day? So I advise myself with my lips tight closed, and when I'm free, I toy with my writings. It's one of the minor fallings I mentioned, and if it's something you can't accept, a vast crowd of poets will flock to my aid, for we are by far the majority, and just as the Jews do in Rome, we force you to join our congregation. I hope that last part wasn't racist. I'm just reading words, and I hope not to offend anyone. It'll be interesting to read later that you'd find some poets in ancient times accredit a muse, or absolutely say there's no muse in their life, this is all me. That's an interesting concurrent thing that a lot of poets argue back then. It's like some want to give thanks, and some say, I am the reason. You should give thanks for my words.